From what I can remember, this was the second fastest EVO and one of the fastest cars in town. Welcome back to another episode of Monstars. I'm your host, Zeeb. Should like, subscribe, and share. And this is episode 4 of Pit Lane. That's just me expressing in a very weird way. I'm going to take you down memory lane to share with you all the cars and owners that inspire me to this day, most of which are based out of Texas. So that being said, we're going to talk about Omar and his EVO. Now, I met Omar a while back at a local car meet, and I'll leave a link in the description below on his EVO at Little River Drag Strip. This was before I met him. I'm sure it wasn't even built yet, but it was still pretty quick. So when I saw the car, hood was popped, I walked up to him and I looked at the turbo and he's like, "It's a small one," just the first thing he says. And we just start laughing. Yeah, it's a lot smaller than a Precision turbo, but notably bigger than the 16G turbo that it came with. Now, for those who aren't familiar with the 4G63 engines, the EVOs have a 16G turbo and the DSM Talons and Eclipses have a 14B turbo. Now, by the time I met this guy, and he was making about 714 horsepower to the wheels on a stock block with a GT35R turbo. I'll leave the link in the description below for the dyno video for those who don't believe me. Shout out to JMS Racing. Now, I was impressed to say the least, as I was under the impression that GT35Rs were only good for about 600 horsepower, regardless of the trim. And making that much power on an EVO at the time wasn't really common. And doing so on a stock block was just unheard of. Yes, it was running E85, but it doesn't matter. For most of the cars, not all the cars in the area at the time that were running stock blocks were either heads cam Pontiac GTOs or supercharged C5, C6 Corvettes, none of which are making anywhere near 700 horsepower. And speaking of GTOs, as we were leaving the car meet, the EVO was met at light by a black 6-liter cammed GTO. And you could say that peer pressure was real at that moment, because while a lot of bystanders encouraged the GTO, others tried to warn him. When the light turned green, you just hear 2-step from the EVO and a soft launch, and the car's gone. Meanwhile, the GTO sits in the light for a few moments and then just slowly cruises away. And we all just got a laugh out of that. It doesn't mean anything seriously. It doesn't mean he was scared or anything, but it was just a fun, happy, moment for everybody to experience. Now, there are a few things that I noticed about Omar's EVO and what I believe the quickest or fastest car in the area have in common. One of which is that they were both tuned by JMS Racing. So again, shout out to JMS Racing for your work that you've done and that you do, even going back over a decade ago. And 2, the owners shared their build. They shared everything. They told you how much power they made, how much torque it made, the parts it took to get there, the tuning, and those who tuned it. And they pretty much just pay everything forward and share their achievements and those who helped them along the way. As long as you just asked, you just took interest in what they had. It's nowadays, there are cars that don't even make 500 horsepower to the wheels, regardless of what upgrades they do. And well, even if they do, and it's from the factory, let's say it's like a Hellcat or a ZL1 Camaro in their stock or bolt-ons or whatever, people tend to be very secretive and lie and try to hustle each other a lot and avoid competition. And there's no law that says you shouldn't do that or anything, but it's just cool to be a part of, a hobby or a livelihood for some, a business, so to speak, or a social gathering, whatever it all meshes together. This thing surrounding cars where people just share. No ego, no worries. Friendly competition is fine. You just ask a question, they give you a straight up answer. And there's proof behind it. But I digress. Last I saw anything on this blue EVO, I think it was back in 2014, and it was up for sale on Craigslist. I want to say it's for like 40 grand. And it could have been for 30, but it doesn't matter because you get a bargain either way. I don't know if the car actually sold. I don't know if it was given to a friend. I don't know what happened to it. I don't even know if he still has it. But I'll leave the link in the video as well on a black EVO that he drove at one point as well with RST Motors. So shout out to them as well. And that EVO runs 10s. So again, Omar, I don't know where you're at, but whether it's you, friends or family, co-workers of his, if any of you are watching this video, just know that Omar, you and your car inspire me to this day. That's all I got for this one. Let me know what you guys think. If you were in the Texas area at the time, Central Texas area, Little River, whatever, just say what's up. Just share your stories like I'm doing now. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you don't know, now you know, but do what you want to do.